The coronavirus pandemic has created unprecedented need here in Southern California. A lot of people struggling to feed their families as businesses continue to be shut down.
And today, Congressman Adam Schiff is joining volunteers to help distribute food, and he joins us now live. Congressman, thank you so much for being here. What are the biggest challenges that you are hearing about from people in the community?
Well, a lot of people who have compromised health situations or are elderly, and they just can't get out, can't go to the grocery store. And so there are great outfits like Project Angel Food that are delivering food. And it was fun to go out with them today and help them in their mission of providing food to those who need it at their home. But this afternoon, I'm at Squirrel Restaurant, where owner Jessica Koslow started meeting the needs of other restaurant workers. And the Squirrel Restaurant is basically providing meals to restaurant workers who are out of work right now to make sure they can feed their own families. And this is Jessica's way of supporting her industry, and it's fantastic. So I'm in their business office right now, and been joining them handing out food this afternoon.
And, of course, the House of Representatives passed the HEROES Act last week. It provides more help for Americans. It may be DOA at the Senate. President Trump says he will veto it. What can you do in the meantime? Is there another form of the bill? Is there something that could be taken out of it to make it more palatable to the GOP?
Well, you know, the last CARES Act, for example, started in the Senate with a Republican bill, which, you know, we could equally say was a dead end. But we introduced legislation in the House. We worked on negotiating the particulars, and we arrived at a compromise. This time the legislation is starting in the House. But look, it has so much that I think Americans want and need right now. It has extended unemployment compensation. It has new flexibility for small businesses that are in the PPP program. It has assistance for renters so that they can pay their rent and keep the roof over their head. It has hazard pay for our hospital workers, those that are driving our buses right now and working in grocery stores and doing what needs to be done so the rest of us can get by. Those things have broad support. My friends in the GOP need to come to the table, and let's get this resolved and get more help out to the American people.
What's it been like for you going out, Congressman Schiff? We're seeing an increased number of attacks launched against journalists, for example. What's it been like for you when you go out? There are a lot of angry people out there, and many of them are angry for very good reasons because they can't make any money right now and their businesses are suffering or they can't go to work. Unfortunately, some of them are directing anger in inappropriate ways. What are you seeing?
Well, you know, this has been a trend over the last several years of a decrease in civility directed towards the media or people in elective office. It's really quite widespread, sadly. But during the pandemic, I think people feel all the more anxious. But as you say, for good reason. These are historically unprecedented times, at least not in the last century, where we're dealing with Great Depression levels of unemployment, and we're dealing with a health scare unlike anything since the pandemic of 1918. But we're going to get through this. I see both the hardship, but I also see people coming together, watching people today with these great nonprofits meeting the needs of other people in the community, creating their own efforts to help others is really uplifting. So, yes, there's an enhanced kind of threat environment out there. For many in the press and many in office, but there's also some great things being done by the American people, and we're going to get through this. And I feel all the more optimistic when I see such good people like I did today.
I want to really quickly get your response to the firing of the Inspector General from the Department of State, who was apparently investigating the Secretary of State for an arms deal that Congress was opposed to with Saudi Arabia. What's your response to the firing of Steve Linick?
Well, this comes on the heel of the firing of other inspectors general by the president, and really it sets our democracy back about a half century. The Inspector General's was an innovation after Watergate to make sure there were independent watchdogs that could report on waste, fraud, or abuse or violation of the law. And here you have one investigating, reportedly, the Secretary of State. So the Secretary of State recommends to Donald Trump that he be fired, and he is. You have another Inspector General of the intelligence community who informs Congress, as he's required to do by law, that a whistleblower has filed a complaint. He gets fired by the president. This is what they do in the developing world. This is what they do in autocratic countries, not in democratic ones. And we're going to have to fight to make sure that oversight goes on, because an unwillingness to hear the truth during a pandemic is not only bad governance, but it could very well be deadly.
Well, we are out of time, but we certainly thank you for joining us this evening. Congressman Adam Schiff, thank you so much.
Thank you.